Hello, world, and welcome to another podcast of It's Not You, It's Autoimmune with your host, Dr. Jocelyne Eberstein. Dr. Jocelyne Eberstein has over 25 years of experience as a doctor of Oriental medicine, medical acupuncture, and functional medicine practitioner. As a community, we are stronger and wiser. You got this, America, where good health is just a podcast away.
Hi, and welcome. We are so excited for this episode of It's Not You, It's Autoimmune. I'm your host, Dr. Jocelyne Eberstein. And today we're joined by the epitome of survivor spirit, Rebecca Cruz. She's an artist. She's a mother of five. She's the wife of over 30 years to NFL star who's now a major actor. And now she's a breast cancer survivor. So earlier this year, the musician was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer and was hit with a double mastectomy just at the time the global epidemic we hit the panic button. And Rebecca's has a unique perspective on undergoing treatment during the time of COVID. So welcome, Rebecca. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. You have no idea. So I wanted to start from the beginning. So you requested a mammogram, and what prompted you to request the mammogram?
Well, I'll go back a little bit in my history, Jocelyne. About 12 years prior, I had done a routine mammogram, and they found a small, very small little growth that turned out to be what they call a radial scar. Okay. And apparently radial scars have a tendency to turn to cancer. So it was recommended that I have it removed. And in light of having that previous situation, I was advised to be very extra careful and get, frequent mammograms accompanied by an ultrasound, because the ultrasound is how they found it. The mammogram did not find this lump. And so my husband and I have moved a lot with his career, and so in all the moving, there were times that I skipped my mammogram.
Oops.
So the last mammogram I'd had was a couple years prior, and so it was just one of those, routine. It was just routine for me to go, do the mammogram, do the pap smear, just head to toe, and I went for the mammogram, and they almost forgot the ultrasound. And I said to them, I have a previous history. Please do an ultrasound. It's on the order. And somebody had just misplaced it, And sure enough, on the ultrasound, they found the lump. Wow. Then we did a biopsy same day. And I'm thinking it's nothing, I'm like, it's another radial scar. And went about my business. And about 3 days later, I got the phone call. We're very sorry to tell you that the lump is cancerous. And I said, whoa, okay, well, what do I do now? And the lady was very kind but very blunt with me and said, we're going to refer you to a surgeon. And we suggest you get referrals from your doctor as well, and maybe get more than one opinion and then go from there. Yeah. And I can say this, there was shock. Yeah. And some fear, but if I can be truthful, I had this eerie kind of calm, like something had already forewarned me. And that even that sense of listen to your body had said to me, go check yourself, go check yourself, go check yourself. And I just was ready to face whatever I had to face. And I wanted to do whatever was necessary. And even again, that still small voice within was like, if they tell you to cut it off, And that was that. So I began that process in the beginning of February.
Mm. So it's that little voice is the voice of spirit. And that little voice we always listen to. We always listen to. And I always, I have my patients take their spirit out of it's like you're taking your car into the shop. Leave your spirit, let them do the work, and then you get through, you come back in afterwards. I mean, that's how the best way, because you never want to stay, just so you know, in that shock, because that shock thing is what will keep you from getting through. So you did a beautiful, beautiful job. How did you deal with the diagnosis when you told your family? Like, how was it? I mean, did you share it right away, or what did you do? How was it?
The only person I spoke to immediately was my husband. Needless to say, he was devastated. I mean, he had this look on his face like I was already in the coffin, and I said, hey,
isn't that awful?
I almost smacked him like, hey,
wake up.
Straighten up.
You're supposed to be here for me.
Yeah, we got a battle on our hands here.
Oh my God.
And I said, I looked at him right away. I said, I'm going to beat this, and you're going to help me. So get it together.
Well, the thing is that everybody thinks, oh, cancer, it's a death sentence. It's not. It's like a chronic disease. You just have to manage it, just like heart disease, like any kind of disease that's chronic. You just got to watch it. That's all, and monitor. So you decided to have a double mastectomy. So explain, was that a suggestion that the oncologist want you to do that, or how did that come about?
No, in fact, she did not recommend it because the left breast was, I'm not saying she didn't recommend, but it wasn't urged by her. The left breast was clear. There was no sign of growth or malignancy, nothing. But I just had this fear that I'd be chasing the other side the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I just thought, I don't know if I want to be worried about it coming up in the other side, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
So as I prayed about it, as I meditated and thought and quietly contemplated, what the future would hold, I just came to the decision that we would just do both. And I called them, and it was approved. And I knew in my heart that that was the right thing to do.
That was great. So you have that voice come in and just say, I need to have it done, right?
Yeah, it was more of a progression to that point, because my initial thought was I would be too devastated to lose both of them.
Right.
But then as we, built upon the idea of immediate reconstruction and what that would look like, and, that versus doing radiation, right? Because the other option was just the lumpectomy, because again, it was a stage 1. It wasn't very big.
Right.
But the radiation would disfigure me to a degree that they rebuild it anyway.
Right, exactly.
So I'm like, if you're going to rebuild it, let's just rebuild it.
Yeah.
So I call them my bionic boobies.
But you know what? You get a new set. It's like
you do.
Not that
and
bad.
They're perky. They're
not
perky.
That bad. So did they do anything differently, because of COVID? Like what changed with your treatment? What changed with the aftercare? Anything? Because you came right before
I had a couple of appointments where I had to show up in a mask, follow-ups, but I had my surgery before the shutdown, before.
You're so lucky.
So I'm very blessed, because there were people tweeting me and Instagramming me saying that they were waiting for surgery because of the COVID. And I just was very fortunate to have been just one of those lucky ones that got in prior to everything shutting down. And I did make a very big pitch for them to hurry up and do it.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to be over it. I just wanted to, let's do this. Like, I'm a very proactive person, especially about my health. And I'm like, how soon can you get me in? And I'm calling the oncologist, and I'm calling the plastic surgeon, and I'm calling everybody. You guys get on the phone, because we need to move.
Because the squeaky
and bless
wheel
their
gets
hearts, they really
the squeaky wheel gets the oil. I'm just telling you, that's like how it works in medicine right now. I don't care how. what kind of a facility you're in. You have to really be very proactive with what your inner knowing knows, right? So what happened after the treatment? Like, what about the aftercare part, besides going in for your follow-ups?
You know, the odd thing is, Jocelyne, that the night before I received my diagnosis, my youngest son, who's also an actor, was cast in his very first major role on a new teenage sitcom for Nickelodeon. And it was a big deal. This boy has been auditioning for 3 years, never really booked anything. And we'd been celebrating the night before at the burger joint. So now I'm like, oh my God, now I have another job. I have to take this kid to work every day and be on set with him and be a stage mom. You know, I was like, wow, suddenly I have a new life, you know? Wow. And the next morning is when I got the phone call.
Oh boy.
So in a way, I was pressuring them because I knew in about 3 or 4 weeks, I had to take this kid to work every day. So check this out. My surgery was about 6 days before his start date.
Oh boy.
So I went to work with tubes under my sweat jacket and the whole nine, and hired an assistant to drive me and to help. And we did 2 weeks of production, and then we were all shut down.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So it was crazy. And it was during that time we were having all the crazy weather. You know, we were having the winds, then we had the rain. I said, it's like the biblical plagues. Oh my goodness, you know. And we literally were hunkered down at home thinking it was just going to be a couple weeks, but there we were, you know, stuck in our house, and off went this pandemic around the world and just changed our whole view about everything.
Change everything? Everything, but like
everything.
You know, everybody thinks Terry's such a warrior. I mean, you're the warrior. You're the strength. I mean, come on. What? You know, I'm mom, and I'm getting it going on. Right? I mean, with tubes and everything. God love you. God, he better appreciate you. By the way.
Oh, I think he does. I give him a good little reminder every now and then.
You just give him.
Hey, you know I'm the best thing that ever happened to you, right? Yeah. He's like, yes, you are, and he.
Oh my gosh! So
he gives me the bow down.
So with regards to recovery, so what were the most important things that towards recovery, like that helped you get well? What do you think were the most?
One thing that was beneficial was I did hyperbaric oxygen.
Good job.
Yeah,
Very
and
good job.
great place out in I want to say they're in Encino or out in the valley, SoCal Hyperbaric.
Wow.
Took really good care of me. I was claustrophobic, so I had to take a Xanax to get in there. You know,
yours do.
And they even worked with me to come in on a Saturday and do treatments because they knew the government was going to shut everything down. And I got maybe 6 or 7 treatments in before everything was shut down. And that definitely helped to speed healing. I prayed, I meditated. You know, I believe in praying for yourself.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And I took a painkiller and I slept a lot.
I know, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's like you took it's like a truck hit you when you have that much of a procedure, right? And so following.
And then you're worried about getting the COVID.
Right,
you know?
on top of it, right?
Right.
Like on top of it, because it compromises your immune system to have gone through such a major trauma. So, you know, some of the things that are really good post-operatively, I don't care if it's cancer, I don't care what it is the acupuncture. And if you are doing things like if you're having chemo or radiation, because even like for you, the toxicity from the anesthesia alone is really harsh on the body. So you got to get rid of that stuff as soon as possible so your body can heal fast enough and really, you know, so the immune system doesn't get compromised, because your immune system needs to scavenge those cancer cells, like 30 cancer cells every single day. You cannot allow that immune system to be compromised on any level. Right. So that is what so nutrient-wise, did you do anything like nutritionally or?
I have, done some nutritional I've worked with nutritional practitioners before. So there were certainly supplements and juicing and that kind of thing.
Good.
But honestly, I did a lot of sleeping. I really did.
It's hard because unless somebody's giving it to you, you can't, it's hard to take care of yourself besides just trying to recover, right?
Right, exactly.
It's hard.
But I did do a lot of juicing.
Good.
And the oxygen was great.
The oxygen,
in terms of
oxygen heals. And did you?
Yes.
How long before you could move your body? Because I know you're an avid workout lady.
I did do some rehab for my arms and my upper body. So pretty well, the first, probably 6-8 weeks, I couldn't move a whole lot.
No.
No. And my doctor ordered some physical therapy, which has been great.
Good.
So probably within 2 or 3 weeks of doing PT, I was able to move my arms normally. The good news is that nothing was in my lymph nodes.
Thank God.
Nothing spread, so I did not need chemo. And so just really getting back to moving and being mobile again took me about a month.
So
yeah.
So what you did that was so great was you got that ultrasound, and just so you know, the smaller the lesion, the less of a chance you are going to have chemo and radiation. So really the gold standard is going to be not only the mammo, but an ultrasound with an MRI, because that's going to find the smallest lesions. And if you have the opportunity and demand it, because you have to demand it, to get both of those screenings done as well as the mammo. The mammo
right.
tends to, you have to be a little bit, it's a bigger lesion that they can detect. So you always, if you have the flexibility and you have the insurance or whatever, MRI and ultrasound are the gold standard. But they won't tell you that unless you ask them. They won't tell you that.
Well, and they actually did recommend the bilateral MRI.
Good.
But my cancer surgeon took a look at everything and didn't think I needed it.
Oh, okay. Good.
So she, we didn't do the MRI. Plus, like I said, I'm claustrophobic. I was like, do I have to go under that thing?
You didn't get over it with all the hyperbarics? Come on.
Oh my God.
It's like, that's really hard with the ear thing and
Yes. And then it's loud. It's like dong, 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 dong. I was like,
I know. So prior to the diagnosis, so you're primarily like Terry Crews's wife, but you've had this beautiful fairy tale marriage, 30 years. I mean, honestly.
I don't know if it was a fairy tale. It was a little more of a.
It was a journey.
I say that I'm getting a happy ending, but it was a little, it was a little more like Grimm's fairy tale for a while there. We've had our ups and downs, but I can thankfully say that he's still the best person for me. He's still my buddy and my friend, and
it's like the
father of my kids. And I still think there's nobody I'd rather be with than Terry Crews for everything we've gone through. And we got married so young.
Right.
That
you grew up together, honestly.
Yeah, it was really, looking back, I think, oh my God,
Yeah, because you want to win the war. You don't want to, the battles, you just get through them, but you want to always keep in mind you're going to win the war. And so stuff, you just got to work it out no matter what. I'm in the no matter what page. So
yeah,
it's really important. So you have your own artistic aspirations as well, right? Throughout your life, right? And you put it aside to do for your husband, to do for those kids. I mean, how was that for you, and what were your aspirations?
Oddly enough, my aspiration was not to do television or even music at the time directly, even though I've been a musician since I was about 9 years old. I've played the piano and wrote my own music. I've performed in musicals and with bands and church as a worship leader and music director. My dream before I got married was to do Broadway.
Wow.
So my musical theater background I was at the BFA program at Western Michigan, which is where Terry went to play football. So Terry and I actually did not cross paths through school. We crossed paths through church because I was a musician at a church in town. And he came to church one night and saw me on the keyboard. He was like, who's she? You know, who's this lady on the keyboard? She's cute. And I say that marrying him changed the trajectory of my life, because when I met him, I just felt like, oh my God, this is it. This is the guy right here. And I made a decision to kind of pause trying to be a Broadway actress, because I thought, he's in LA playing football, I'm in New York auditioning. We had a couple kids by the time we, went pro. And I thought to myself, well, let me just be a mom. Let me raise these kids. And then once we maybe settle in one city for a long time, mommy will go back to doing what she wants to do. And that ended up being, was that 2009, the year we did the family cruise.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, the last thing I ever imagined I would do is television, and reality television at that, because I hated reality TV. I thought, they show the worst in people. But we had a really wonderful experience with our BET show. We had really great producers who were very sympathetic to the family. They were female producers. Wow. And we just had a blast. And next thing I know, I was basically famous for being a mom. I was like the reality version of Carol Brady,
I know, but you did a better job. So wait a minute. So tell me about the music piece, because that's how he met you. And then you put that aside. And then what happened?
Well, I always kept the music going through my involvement in ministry. I was always directing the choir or playing in the band or singing on the worship team. So I kept my skill going, but I wasn't doing my own music. And literally, I was about 41 when I just felt like God said to me, it's your time. I'm like, now is my time? I'm old now. And I bought myself studio equipment. Wow. And I started writing songs for myself and recording them and just putting them online and working with different producers. And I finally got to the point where I could afford a little bit better promotion. Mm-hmm. And the last two singles, Destiny and I Keep Holding On, got radio played nationally with XM radio and with some stations in the South and the Midwest. And I was just very fortunate that I had reached a level that I could create enough traction around the music without a record label.
Wow.
And so that's why it takes me a little while to put out another record.
It's okay.
It's very expensive to do.
Well,
and
you have such a beautiful it's such a unique sound. It isn't out there. It's like anybody who hasn't heard her music has got to listen to this stuff, because
thank you.
It is. It's just it's sexy, it's soulful, it's jazzy. It's like nobody's doing this. Nobody. So I'm
Thank you. I call it grown and sexy music.
So you started performing under Regina Madre. So why was it important for you to do that? And what does that mean, Regina Madre? Where did that come from?
Well, Regina Madre is Italian for queen, mother. And I just felt like every woman is a queen. And every woman in a way is a mother, because we're always taking care of people, whether we have our own children or not. There's that side of us that nurtures, and we're, giving life to others in so many ways. So for me, Regina Madre represented the power of femininity and the power of who we are as women. We don't want to be men. We want to be women. We are strong just like we are. However, I felt there was a bit of a burden being known for the reality TV and being known as a wife, that sometimes people can't see you another way. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, well, what if I took a cue from the artist known as Her, who she had some previous fame as a child star. She changed her name and hid her identity and put her music out. And people just loved it because they weren't judging her based on what they knew about her previous experience with fame. And sure enough, I got radio play on this music by hiding my identity to some degree.
Yeah.
Also, I knew I would have some age discrimination. I'm 54 years old. And, you know,
45
sometimes
backwards.
they don't want you if you're over 25 sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just a way to have people hear the music and judge it on its own merit.
And rightfully so. It stands alone. Now, how did you get kind of the space, or you know, to say, or to really say, hey, I want to come out in the limelight on my own? Like, what prompted that whole, like?
For me, it was just the realization that I was. I just think I was lonely for my own dream, and I had been a mother and a wife, and I had done a lot of things that were for everybody else. And the only way I can describe it is, like you say, that still small voice told you to go and do this or go and do that.
Right.
It was that still small voice inside that said, God made you for more than motherhood. And whatever that is, you need to find it and go do it. And so I'm doing several things besides music. I'm creating a clothing line.
Good job.
I'm creating just a fashion brand that will ultimately include fashion and beauty and all of these things that have always been in my heart and to do. And now that I'm a mother of 5, but I only have 2 kids left at home, and you know, they don't need me every hour. Mommy can go do what she wants to do, and make a way for myself so that after they're gone, I'm not like crying in my beer around the house for
Good idea. I know.
for 3 weeks, you know, because people go through that. There is a sadness when your house is empty.
Completely.
And I want to have a fullness before that. You know, I just want to build my life around the things I'm going to be doing in the next 40 years.
Exactly. So I can't believe you just told us you were 54, which I think for you is 45 backwards, right? And so what's your secret to keeping up your beautiful looks? I mean, even after this traumatic injury, like you had a truck hit you, I mean, look at you. You're amazing. What do you do to stay so youthful?
Wow. Well, like I said, I'm a spiritual person. I pray. You know, I believe in the Lord, and I believe He gives me comfort and peace and helps me to stay stress-free as much as possible. I do eat right as much as possible, although I did have some barbecue yesterday. I exercise almost every day. And then I have both Native American and African American blood. So, you know, as Black folks, we say, black don't crack. I love to say, beige don't age. Because I'm a little more beige. You know, my mother is African American, and she easily looks 30 years younger than her age, in my opinion.
Wow.
And so maybe the combination of good genes and healthy living, and, you know, just thinking positively and just praying and having faith. You have to know that things are going to work out in your life.
Rebecca,
to stay positive.
Rebecca, I'm getting a lot of calls on the phones. I wanted to take a caller. Let's see what they have, what they want to say. Are they on the phone? Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Dr. Jocelyne.
This is Mia from Hawaii.
Hi, who is this? One more time.
Mia.
Mia. Hi, Mia. How are you? This is It's Not You.
I'm very well, thank you. I am so pleased to be on the show. I listen to it every week, and you know, I just love your guests.
Oh,
and
you.
Especially today, you have Rebecca. I mean, Rebecca, you look so young.
You look amazing.
How do you keep your youthful looks?
Exactly.
Well, like I said, I do exercise. I do believe exercise is a fountain of youth for most people who do it. As you can see, even my husband looks very youthful, and it's because of his commitment to fitness and his commitment to his health. I do have pretty decent makeup tricks, so I look a little better right now than I did this morning. But
yeah, and just so you know, if you have a cancer,
but I do have some good skincare tips that I use. I'm not in the sun a lot, and I do use some good moisturizing natural oils on my face. But overall, I just give God the credit.
Exactly. But you
look stunning, and I love you too, Dr. Jocelyne. Thank you so much. I love your show.
Thank you. And the number one tool in my toolkit, besides the spirituality for, whenever you have a life-threatening diagnosis, is the exercise. It is the one tool that is by far the best. The second tool is going to be your diet. And for anybody who has had cancer or who is facing that kind of a diagnosis, you want to do plant-forward diet. Okay, that means anything above the ground plants. You want to eat them. And you notice I didn't say fruits, right? Okay, not so much fruits. So that is super important. And in terms of supplementation, make sure you get your multi in, make sure you get your fish oil in, and make sure you get your vitamin D. Like, that is a no-brainer. Everybody, with or without any diagnosis, must do to protect yourself for the rest of your life. It is important for all-cause mortality. So those are the three main things we want to do. So, and it'll keep you beautiful. So anyway, so I wanted to, can you tell us a little bit more about where we can find your music, your album?
Well, my new album is not out yet. It's coming, I promise.
Okay.
We still have some final recording and mixing to do on the record. So you can only have a minimum number of people in the recording studio with their mask on. So we're going to be finishing up a song that I think will be song number 10. And then I have a couple more projects to finish producing. And then we'll put the record out. So the only delay for me was partly the COVID.
Right.
Because, again, we couldn't get together and do the studio work. But we're finding interesting ways to do it in pieces, where the producer can do one part and then I can come in and do the vocal. Whereas back in the day, we'd all be in the studio together and making music and having fun. Now you have to limit how many people are present.
Exactly.
And so we're going to get that finished. I'm real excited. I have some music on this album that is very powerful and meaningful to me. So I'm excited to share it with the public. And then also, as an independent artist, the promotional side is another big push, and it costs money.
Yeah.
So by the time you spent X amount on the recordings, you're going to spend double that pushing the record. So I had to let the coffers fill up again.
I get it. So is it under your name or Regina Madre?
My name will be attached to the record this time because I did do some press for the last two singles. So I had already revealed my identity when I did that. So now people do know it's me, but there's still, was what I would call a regional push on the last project. So hopefully this time we're going to get a very national awareness around the music.
Exactly.
And that costs a lot of money.
I get it.
I'm excited.
So Rebecca, I think that's all the time we have today for the show. But what I do want to put out is I need to know what your socials are so people can follow you and get a hold of you if they want to ask questions. It's been such a fantastic episode. I thank you so much. So your socials and how can we get in touch with you, find the album or find the songs or...
Yes. Well, my social is The Real Rebecca King Cruz on Instagram, Rebecca K. Cruz on Twitter, Rebecca King Cruz on Facebook.
Beautiful.
And what else? The music will be available on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music. Right now, you can find my songs under the name Regina Madre. And I actually do have a couple songs under Rebecca Cruz. And you can also see the videos attached to the songs. They're all on YouTube. So if you pull up Regina Madre on YouTube and you pull up Rebecca Cruz on YouTube, you're going to see 3 or 4 music videos that I made promoting the songs at the time. So check me out. They've been up there for a little bit.
Do you have a website?
But,
is there a website we can?
I do not. You know,
Okay.
I found that people did not go to the website. When I would promote things on social, they would watch it on the social platform.
Social. Okay.
And so it kind of replaced the website as the most effective way for people to view everything.
Okay. All right. Perfect. And then no hashtags, right? Do you have hashtags?
Only hashtag I've used is Regina Madre.
There you go. So, Rebecca, thank you. This is all the time we have for today. This has been a fantastic, fantastic episode. I'd like to thank Rebecca Cruz again for joining us today and sharing her cancer journey as well as her music. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to It's Not You, It's Autoimmune. We are presented by the eCenter Wellness, a nationally recognized functional medicine clinic where patients are empowered to become partners in their health. Learn more about the eCenter at ecenterwellness.com and learn more about our podcast, our show, It's Not You, It's Autoimmune, on social media. So you can find us at Facebook at It's Autoimmune and on Instagram at It's_autoimmune. And don't forget to like, share, and follow us. So you can find more information about this show as well as past shows because there's a lot of information. This is Dr. Jocelyne Eberstein signing off from UBNGO Studios in Burbank. And until next time, be well and do good in the world.